What's up, everyone? I'm Michelle with Swerve Combat, and I'm here with Alan Dawson. Knuckle Mania 6 was crazy last night. I mean, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, good. Even just looking on down the card before, even anyone towed the line, there were so many fights that could have been a headline fight in and of themselves,
Right.
and each one seemed to over deliver. So I'm looking forward to breaking them down with you this morning.
Yeah, let's start from the top. Of course, the main event that everybody was talking about. We had Ben Rothwell, who was the current champion, the heavyweight champion, going against Arlovski. I mean, they fought two times already in MMA, right? I think it was like Affliction, UFC, and this was going to be like a trilogy fight. This was their third time fighting for, bare knuckle, different rule set. What did you think of that fight?
I was really surprised at how slow Ben Rothwell seemed to box from, pretty much the opening bell. Andrei Arlovski was just sharper, more precise, and better shot selection. And it was him that appeared to be the champion. And I wasn't surprised when he did close the show because the complexion of the fight, it looked like it was his fight to lose straight away. I thought he fought spectacularly, and then winning a world title in his late 40s, 2 years after George Foreman was able to in boxing, and we've just got our oldest heavyweight champion in BKFC also.
Right. It was so exciting. And I mean, it was crazy that cut that he gashed Rothwell like right in the forehead. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, it's unfortunate, there was a doctor stoppage, but still it just shows that Arlovski, he still got it. And, they mentioned to him if he was going to fight the Cuban assassin, and he was kind of like, okay, like let me just rest, let me celebrate this and then we'll talk later, but that would be interesting too.
I got the impression that he might not have known who he was, but like for anyone who doesn't know, he's been marketed to us as this, the Mike Tyson of bare knuckle. There's so many first round knockout wins in this guy's career. And I think that's the fight to make. I'd love to see it, and I hope Arlovski can take the time, and hopefully we can see that fight in the summer.
I'd love to see that too. Well, let's move on to Lorenzo Hunt versus Dave Mundell. As we know, he was supposed to fight Yoel Romero, but Yoel Romero withdrew. It was basically like a number one pound for pound versus number two pound for pound.
I thought that was amazing. I thought like for me, Lorenzo Hunt, what he's achieved in bare knuckle anyway. He beat Hector Lombard a while back. He beat Mike Richmond before losing the heavyweight title at *KnuckleMania IV 2 years ago. In his time away, David Mundell took that top spot, from him. We had 5 wins in a row, all middleweight title fights. So this really was, who was the top dog in the whole organization. And man, Lorenzo Hunt, what he's doing in his mid 40s, just like Andrei Arlovski.
Right.
For years we've thought of like athletes entering their 40s as washed, but these guys are showing the
Mm-hmm.
opposite of that. That they still have a lot to give the sport. I'm just amazed and blown away what Lorenzo Hunt is doing. Find it inspiring. I'm 41 years old, and this guy is still tearing through opposition like he's in his 20s.
Yes, it's clear he is the number one pound for pound. I mean, what a statement performance. He called out Mike Perry again. Mike Perry was in the crown. He wants that King of Violence title. I mean, I'd love to see that too.
Yeah, I think that's the fight to make. Honestly, I'm surprised that Mundell didn't get it on last night for *KnuckleMania VI. It was I think Lorenzo Hunt. It would have been always a tougher fight for him because Lorenzo, was fighting at heavyweight. David Mundell was fighting in the division below not too long ago. So size wise, there was already physical advantages that Lorenzo was able to take advantage of. But he's an animal and he's a beast, and yeah, if they make that fight with Mike Perry, that is the king of violence. That's the title fight, and it's the pound for pound number one fight. What a fight to make!
Yes, what a fight to make. I agree. And then we had Ben Bonner, who is now going to be fighting for the title against Austin Trout. I mean, that was a rematch, right? Bonner proved that the first one wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, again, like there's so many good fights now that BKFC can maneuver towards. Like one of the guys I really like watching, Austin Trout. Coming from boxing myself, I've always had fondness for Austin Trout, seeing what he's been doing
Mm-hmm.
in BKFC. And this is one of the great things that BKFC does. It's not just the pacing of the show, and it's not just the kind of violence that we see on a consistent basis. It's the
Right.
narrative and the storytelling, and knowing that, we've got this fight already booked. Again, whoever wins that is going to be, challenging Lorenzo Hunt and David Mundell for, right at the top of the pound for
Right.
pound conversation. Austin Trout really is probably the number two, number three guy. That's a great fight to look forward to.
I do want to talk about Zedekiah Montanez. I think that one did it stood out to me because it's the opener of the main card and it's going to set the tone for the rest of the card. And so I think that's why that fight mattered. It set the tone for the entire night. It was a lightweight rematch. He avenged his loss basically. And I thought it
Mm.
was amazing. He dropped Meyer with a big overhand right in the first round. He came out strong again in the second and secured that victory. Charles Felony, I believe he hadn't fought for bare knuckle in over 5 years. I think like 5 years and some change. So to me, this was more than a win. It was like his redemption. And it was just crazy to see. He still has it. He drops Pat Sullivan early and then he comes back in round two with a big left hand to get that finish. And it was crazy. He snapped that. I mean, he was 0-3 in bare knuckle. So for him to just come back and win was awesome to see as well.
Yeah, so over in England, we had a world featherweight championship fight between Nick Ball and Brandon Figueroa. Figueroa left the United States for the first time in his pro career, and he's going to come back to the States with the WBA featherweight championship title after knocking Nick Ball out in the 12th round. The final punch was a no-look left hand, and it reminded me of the way Sergio Martinez finished Paul Williams about 15 years ago. He put Ball down with that punch. Ball got up, but Figueroa pushed forward with volume until the Brit was hanging off the ropes, and the fight was finished. But the headline wasn't just the knockout, but what happened after, as Figueroa's corner entered the ring to celebrate. Ball's corner, other officials seemed to be annoyed at that, incensed at the way
Mm,
in which Figueroa's team was celebrating. As someone who's grown up in England and lives now in the United States, it seemed like they were just trying to police the celebrations.
mm,
Figueroa even apologized from what I saw. He's kind of a class act, but yeah, I don't think he really needed to. He and his team are
no.
allowed to celebrate a world title win on the road, and for anyone to act like they can't, it just came across as sore losers. Let us know what you
Yes.
guys think if you saw that footage in the comments below. But that's kind of one of the hot topics in boxing right now, and
Yeah, he should
guys,
not have to apologize for that victory. Well deserved, well earned. So
yeah.
much fun last night watching these fights. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Let us know in the comments below what was your favorite moment.